I want to give a very warm, I'm gonna start again because they just started recording. Okay, one more time. Welcome to this wonderful talk. My name is Marianela Sandy Cruz. I'm gonna be your host. I'm a professor here at Coto Campus at Universidad Nacional. I want to welcome everybody. And here I see Eileen, Diego, Shayla, Shirley, Julian, Sharon. Thank you for being here. And I also want to give a very warm welcome to our speaker today. She is Barbara, and I'm going to talk a little bit about her biography, okay? Well, Professor Barbara Jean Hall was born in New York in the United States. Currently, she teaches English, composition, literature at Georgia State University in Atlanta, Georgia. She has also worked with secondary and college ELL writers throughout her career. She holds a master's degree in English literature from Wake Forest University and a master's degree in applied linguistics from Georgetown University. She has co-authored and published 3 composition textbooks. And in spring 2015, she held the U.S. Fulbright Scholar Award in TEFL in Costa Rica, which was entitled Core Skills in Ongoing Teacher Development, Outreach, and Access. And well, Barbara is not only a wonderful professor, but also a wonderful human being. And I hope you guys can really enjoy her talk. And the floor is yours, Barbara. Thank you so much.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for those kind words, Marianela. As Professor Cruz mentioned, I spent a semester teaching at your university and have been back several times. Even most recently, that was 2 years ago, bringing study abroad students from my college, Georgia State in Atlanta, to the campus in San Isidro. So I'm glad you're going to be English teachers. I think that's probably the most. And today I'm going to be talking about one of the new initiatives going on in the college. So the title of my talk is Making Meaning and College Career Writing Tasks. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the changes that have gone on in the freshman English writing program in our universities in Georgia and mostly across the United States. All college students, no matter what discipline they are in, take 2 semesters of composition. They take a first semester writing course, and then they take a second semester, and it's a progression of from some basic writing and composition to longer papers. But one of the things that has happened is that there has been some pressure from businesses and government agencies that want our students to be able to do more workplace kind of writing. And also the students themselves are looking for the kind of writing that they might be able to use in a practical way, as in a resume, writing a short professional biography. But first, before I get into a little bit about this, I wanted to know, who are you? And if any of you'd be willing to tell me just a little blurb about yourself so I can kind of know who my audience is. And Mariela, you might need to call on some people if they don't volunteer, but maybe I could get just a little bit of information about my audience.
It's okay. Eileen, would you like to say a little something about yourself or Professor Barbara Hall?
Yes, I will. I would love to. So it's very nice to meet you. My name is Eileen. I'm 20 years old, and I'm an English student. I just major in English, so I'm still not in the English teaching career. So I'm on my way to it. But yes, I majored in English. Mhm.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Diego?
Well, my name is Diego Garro, and I'm a professor at San Isidro campus, let's say. And well, I teach a lot of courses related to writing, so I love writing, I would say. Sometimes it's difficult to teach writing, but well, I've been teaching at the university for almost 20 years now, 18 years. I was thinking about it, and wow, I'm kind of old now. And yeah, I guess that writing is one of the most difficult skills to teach, especially to students that are not native speakers, because we have, I don't know, a way to write in Spanish, and it's very difficult to change like the way we write in Spanish to teach students to write in English, let's say. That's, I guess that's like the most difficult part, but when they get it, some students write really, really well. And welcome, Barbara. It's nice that you are really healthy.
And
It's nice to
Diego,
see you.
you're still very young, even though
Kind
you've been
of.
teaching writing for a long time.
I'm 40. I'm 40 now.
Jovencito.
Thank you. Thank you, Barbara.
Okay, let's listen to Crito Villa. Crito Villa. Can you hear me? Crito Villa. Okay, Catalina.
Hello, my name is Catalina. I am beginner with my English. Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
My first year. It and is difficult. I live in Buenavista.
The microphone's going in and out a little bit.
Yes, the
Can
thing
you
is
hear
that,
me, Marianela?
yes, the thing is that it's raining a lot in some areas here, and sometimes that affects the internet connection. Let's listen to, thank you, Catalina. We're so sorry we cannot hear you. Melanie. Melanie, can,
Yes, hi.
Good.
Well, I have been problems with my internet, so I need to say something about myself. Well, my name is Melanie. I am studying Diplomado in English. I live in Guadalupe, Rios. I don't know. I also work at the same time that I study, and it's hard, but I really like this career, and I have 18 years. I am 18 years old, and that's it. I think so.
okay, let's listen to Elizabeth. I saw Elizabeth, she's not here anymore. Sharon Hernandez Sanabria.
Hello, can you hear
Hello?
me?
Yes.
My name is Sharon. I'm a beginner with English too. I'm studying Enseñanza del Inglés in Pérez Celedón. I'm 18 years old and I chose this career because I think it is interesting and I like the language. So I hope I can learn a lot of things, and teach other people maybe in the future. And that's all.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And now Shayla. Shayla.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Shayla. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I am studying Diplomado de Inglés. And well, I have been studying English for 2 years. And I would love to improve my English. So I take every opportunity to learn more and more about this language.
Wonderful.
Let's listen to Shirley.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Excuse me, I hardly speak English. It's my third year. I am the I am in the English teaching career at the Pérez de León campus. Thanks.
Okay, Julian.
Can you hear me right?
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Julian Buzo. I'm taking this career here in Pérez de León. And well, so far the career has been like kind of hard and exhausting because, you know, this is my first year, so I need to get used to it. And I chose to study English because I've always been interested in the language and I like it very much.
Very nice.
Okay, now let's listen to Luis. Okay, I think his microphone is not working.
Maria,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm studying the teaching English career at campus on Pérez de León. This is my first year. I've been studying English since 2018 at CIUNA, and I want to be a teacher because it's something that I like to do, help others to learn something new.
And finally, Crito Villa. There's somebody called Crito Villa here.
Hi. Hi, my name is Carol Villanueva. I live in Buenos Aires.
Not hearing anything.
No, I think we lost her. And I think we're done. Yes, we're done.
Well, I learned quite a bit from that little introduction. Number one, I thought that all of the students were going to be at the Coto campus. I didn't realize that some of them would be coming from Pérez de León. So that's nice, quite a mixture of students. And also, I applaud all of you, even if you're a beginning student, to do an introduction. You have a long journey to go, and any little bit of English that you can listen to and hear and interact with the native speaker is always going to be a good thing. So I will try to give some of the information in a slower way and repeat so that you can get the information. It's probably the topic I'm talking about is not one that's in your regular curriculum, but it is about what's going on in colleges across the United States in English, and I thought it might be of interest. Before I go to the next slide, Marianella, if you can't see the slide or if you can't hear me, just let me know, okay?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So what I want to talk about are some of the changes that are going on in this first year of writing in freshman composition. We normally call the first 2 semesters in English, the year of freshman composition. So in the last 20 years, if you look on the left-hand side, all students, no matter what their majors, would, in that writing class of freshman comp, have to produce approximately 5 essays, 4 to 5 essays, 500 words, and they would be from personal essays to argument essays. They might write a contrast paper, they might write an example essay, and really they would just practice basic sentence structure and essay organization. In that class also, they would also do a research paper, and that paper would be about 1,000 words with 3 academic sources. And then in addition, another paper analyzing literature. You would also have to do some of those papers timed, meaning they would have to do them in 60 minutes or 75 minutes, depending on the class. So this on the left-hand side is sort of a traditional model of what students across the United States would get in their first semester. But now, as of about 2 years ago, there are some new ways of teaching writing that have been implemented. And I've been on a team of teachers at my college at Georgia State who are doing these new ways of teaching writing. So one of the most important things is that they do fewer papers, that the writing is not so one-time product-centered, do this, do this, do this, do this, but they do fewer papers, they do multiple drafts, and that draft would get a grade. The students would get the comments, maybe even have a one-on-one time with the teacher, revise that paper for a different grade. They would do shorter papers. Instead of a long, lengthy research paper, they would do a shorter essay that would maybe be a spin-off from something that they were more interested in, because that's one of the things that the students felt, is that the teachers were choosing the topics and they were things that the students didn't want to do. And then the last thing was that they wanted more work-related and workplace kinds of writing. You know, these students weren't necessarily English majors. They were in computer science and business and mathematics. So they wanted some practical applications to the writing that they did. So the college, Georgia State University, came up with this College to Career initiative. And this initiative was to get the students to look at particular job-related and career competencies that they would acquire in their different classes. These would be geared to writing more practical kinds of writing. I mean, what we used to call technical writing, and to move towards writing that is useful. And I don't want to say more useful than other kinds of writing, but writing that they could use in their everyday lives and that they could use as they were beginning. In other words, in teaching freshmen, the kinds of writing assignments that I was doing last semester were ones that if the student was perhaps getting a job in the summer, they would have some skills ready. And so there began to be a lot of emphasis in something called workforce readiness, being able to look at different career tracks, whether it was in health professions or mathematics or business or law, and to look at the path to that career, and in particular to look at the kinds of writing that would be needed for that career. So is that clear? So the backdrop of this initiative was to move writing towards more application and not have it be so esoteric. I mean, that's a word that comes to me, like so just in the clouds, but have it to do with real life skills. So in English in particular, in the last year, here is what we did. We looked at particular career and writing competencies. And, they're not, so terribly new, really. We want to be doing critical thinking in our writing. We want to do a certain amount of problem solving. We want to have not only written communication, but oral communication. In other words, if a student was doing a research paper or a documented essay, the student might give a report to the class with the proposal of what the student wanted to research. Also, really kind of bridging the gap with digital technology. In the United States, and possibly this is in Costa Rica as well, the students were doing particular kinds of communication with social media, Instagram, Facebook, and text writing. But the older professors were doing a different kind of communication. So there was sort of this idea to merge the two and to get them to use the talents of what young people could do and bring it to the forefront. And all of that with, ideas about professionalism, how you write professionally, and how you begin to manage a career, not waiting until the students are at graduation, but beginning at the freshman level of college. The first year, begin thinking about that. Because I don't know about Costa Rica, but what would generally happen in this country is that students would work for, work on their college career 4 or 5 years, sometimes 6. They get to the end and graduate, and boom, they had not started looking for jobs. They hadn't any idea of how to put together a resume or a portfolio. And so there was a delay between the graduation and then when they would get a job. And as we know, students needed to get a job right away. They didn't need to wait a year. So the college got involved in doing that. So, again, part of this in English composition was using something called a personal mission statement, which was one of the kinds of papers, and bringing that in a clearer form to the first year writing. And I'm going to show you the example of what I used in my classes. So the students for essay 1 in my class did a kind of paper called a personal mission statement. And in some ways, it's, writing about yourself, but it is for the student to reflect and examine why he or she is in college, what goals they have of being in college, what their particular major might be, and what past experiences might have led them to, being in college right now. It's sort of a fancier paper than just a biography, write about yourself, but it's, how did you get to this point here that you're in freshman composition and you're heading somewhere, And how did you do this? So like a number of you said, you know, you're in the English teaching program. So even if you're a beginner, you know that's where you want to be. And so you have to write a little bit of the past. Well, how did you get there? Was it a teacher that you had in a previous secondary school that you liked and you thought about this career? I think somebody mentioned that he just likes the language and wants to know more about the language of English. So it would be an essay writing about the past, but also writing about the future. And I liked that. And many students said, even though it was just a first person essay, that was one of the hardest things they had to write, because they, you know, they've thought about this, but they haven't put the words down on paper to do that. So with this assignment, and this is probably pretty small, you can see that this came right from the page that I was teaching, and it tells the students that this paper was 10% of their grades, and it links these college to career initiatives: the oral, written, and communication, career management, digital technology, professional work ethic. So every teacher then can put in place particular bullet points that would emphasize what they want a particular paper or assignment to do. And they would do this through this tool that was that all the college faculty had access to, College to Career Skill Builder, where they would choose the particular competency and then the particular skill and apply it to that particular assignment. And I liked that a lot, you know, as the teacher, because it made me think, okay, what competency do I want the student to have by doing this paper? So it became much more than just looking at the sentence structure, looking at the organization, looking at, you know, the where the commas are. It sort of was a bigger look at writing and some of the purposes of it. As I said, it was a new initiative. I was involved in it for the last year, but the first semester was training, and the second semester that we ended in May was the implementation of this new way of teaching writing and new products that the students would do. So another part, so the personal statement was at the beginning, and at the end of the semester, the students had to do a professional bio and a resume. And that was very interesting to me. Now, I put that assignment in April because a lot of our students take the summer session off and earn money and work. I mean, many of them work all year round, like I know many of you in Costa Rica do. But they're, you know, especially with the pandemic slowing down and many jobs being more available, it was just sort of the right time. So this assignment required two things. One, that they had to take their personal mission statement and sort of make it shorter and more concise. And they had to, you know, pull a 500-word essay down to about 300 words, you know, make it short and be very direct. And that's a particularly hard kind of writing, to take something and synthesize it and pack in a lot of information. I know when Marianela asked me for my biography, you know, for this, like, oh my God, that's so hard to write, you know, gotta like put in a lot of information. And so that was what one of the exercises was. And the second was to write a resume. And students looked at templates, we compared models of a resume. About 50% of the students in my 3 classes had some form of a resume, but 50% of them did not. And my students at Georgia State are, some of them are 17 and 18 years old, and then some of them are in their 20s. The older students who had worked had some form of it, but many of the younger students didn't. So we looked at different models and we looked at different templates, how to organize them, what information to have. One thing that was very interesting to me that, and again, this was a part of a new way of teaching. Students would do a draft. I would review it, make comments, then they would revise it. And one of the things that would inevitably happen is that with education, my students wouldn't put where they were now. Like they felt that they couldn't put that they were at Perimeter College until they finished it. And I said, no, you want to let your job employer know that you are a college student, because even being in college for a couple of semesters shows something more than someone who has just finished high school. So, they learned both small things and then big things about writing. And I think writing a resume is actually very, very hard and time consuming. And what happens in the workplace here, it generally is that there are a lot of online forms to fill out, and then there's a place where students have to upload a resume. So having it done, I think it is a very practical kind of writing task. There was also another component with this, and that they had to publish these. There were 2 kinds of things. One is, and this is on the left, it's a software called Portfolium that Georgia State has purchased. And it is, like the name of it, a portfolio. And so students can put a resume, they can put their professional bio there. They can also put other papers. Maybe they are doing some research in a human anatomy class, and they can add that to it, so that from their years as freshmen to seniors, they're constantly adding to one site all of the academic work that they've done. And again, that was very new. It didn't happen when I was in school, and really it's just started to grow and prosper. The other more familiar one, of course, is LinkedIn. Having them understand how LinkedIn works and posting something there. And I wanted to end with what the responses were, and then I'm happy to take questions and hear your responses. So, teachers are always nervous about trying new things. We like to do the things that we know will work. But the majority of the students in my 3 classes felt that this was very forward thinking. It made them crystallize either career goals or think about what kinds of jobs they would do for the short term as well as the long term. The other thing I heard from them was that they liked how somebody sort of coached them in how to present themselves more professionally, and which is what you have to do with a professional bio and with a resume. They also had a chance, by the way, to look at each other's and to give comments. And, students love to say, oh, I really like Jose's, look what he does. And he's formatted it this way. And so they got a lot of ideas from sharing each other's resume, which normally we don't have much of a chance, or at least in academics, we don't see each other's resumes very often. Maybe our boss or the chair or the department executive might, but not us. I wanted to leave some room for some comments, talk, your thoughts. We have two professors at the school who teach writing who can tell me what they think. And then from the student end, curious to see what you have to say.
Well, I would like to start by saying that something that I really admire from your culture, Barbara, is that you really push students forward so that they can publish what they do. And I have said to my students when I teach writing, I have said to them that we need to go to that level of making students use what they write in a real life situation. I'm talking about posting something on social media as you're doing it. I think 2 years ago, I tried to do something with the magazine that students wrote. I wanted to share the magazines that my students wrote with the college webpage, but it was not possible because of a special situation. But yes, I really admire what you do in the States. You really encourage students to publish, which is really amazing.
Well, in some ways, it's to get them sort of out in the world, to show others what they have, even if it's beginning. We find that most students who are very shy about, they don't feel like they're ready, but in fact, it takes a long time to develop those skills. And so it's sort of seeing it in process. Diego, do you want to comment?
Yeah, when you were explaining this process, I remember when I was in high school, because when I was taking mathematics, I said, well, how in real life am I going to use this? I don't know, like algebra or these things. I mean, I don't care about this. I mean, I can do it well, but later on, how am I going to use it? And I think that that's a very important point that you have commented, because if students don't find like the usefulness of something, they are not going to like make an effort. And if they see that they need to improve their writing skills, I don't know, for a purpose, for a real purpose, I guess they are going to be more motivated. And I guess that's a very important part of the writing skills, like to be motivated. Even if they don't like, I don't know, writing in English, because sometimes it is difficult. They say, well, I need to be able to write in English because if I want to get a better job, my skills have to improve. And I guess that's a very, very important part.
Yeah, Diego, and I want to say, students really want to know, when do you use a colon and when do you use a dash? When do you use a comma in a resume? And capitalization, oh, it's important in a resume. So you're absolutely right. It makes the connection, that I need to know this because this is a product that's going to represent me. And it makes.
I remember also when I graduated from the bachelor's in teaching, let's say, in teaching English, and well, you feel that you're going to change the world, but you go to teach at a high school, and then you face like the cruel reality. I remember the advisor telling me that I didn't know how to plan, and I just graduated and said, how come? And I felt really bad at that moment. And you say, well, 4 years were, I don't know, wasted. Because sometimes, I don't know, what we learn, it's like divorced from reality, let's say.
Yes, yeah, very much. I completely agree.
So you graduate, but then you have to go and learn more things. Yeah, and sometimes it's frustrating, but well, I guess that's how life is, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I related what you explained to my life, and I see that that's a very good idea, like to include things that are really needed in life, and not like to teach them how to memorize, like when to use a comma, like after introductory clause or something like that. I mean, it's good because, I mean, if they want to make an impression, they have to know how to use all of those punctuation marks, right? But I mean, they are not going to be editors. Well, I guess.
Right, and this might be very heretical to say, because most of us, and probably you in Costa Rica, went through teacher training programs where you studied a lot of literature and you wrote papers that were an analysis of literature. And then what had been going on in composition was teaching short stories and having students write literary analysis papers. Well, if you're a nursing student or a math professor, going to be a math professor, or a biologist, why do you need to write a paper that analyzes literature?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it doesn't do a lot for critical thinking and world knowledge and everything. But having kinds of writing that are useful to a broad base of majors has been this shift that I want to say honestly, the many of the former faculty don't want to do it at all. They want to teach the way they've been teaching, and so the group that I was in, the 10 freshman comp teachers, tended to be younger and wanting to really respond to student needs. And I was a little older than them, but I want to respond to student needs.
Yeah, and I guess most professors need training as well, right?
Yes,
because it's a big change, and we're, as humans being as human beings, we are afraid of changes, right?
Yes, right.
And
right.
that is a big change.
There's another professor here, Professor Soto Peralta. Maybe Federico would like to say something.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you for this refreshing ideas that you gave us. I think it's really important to contextualize the writing tasks we do in our classes. As Professor Garro said, it's really important that students find a purpose in what they do. But sometimes we tend to forget, right? We tend to use like this metacognitive language all the time, probably that a language that students do not need to know, or maybe they might find like completely useless. Actually, I was thinking that what type of tasks or writing activities we can use in our EFL context, right? Because I don't know, a personal point of view, or what I consider, writing is one of the most challenging skills to develop in students. So maybe if you can give us recommendations, I would appreciate that a lot.
Are you asking me for recommendations for the hot topics that students want to write about?
Yes. Probably the topics that you have used before, and students feel like motivated or excited.
When I teach an argument paper from just a personal perspective, a non-researched argument, I will give a list of about 40 topics in categories dealing with education issues or social issues, political issues, health issues. And I ask the students to have a personal connection to the topic that they choose, and to give me that justification orally. And so usually I find that if they have a connection to that topic, they will write it more passionately. For example, healthcare in the United States is just a huge issue. And with the 2-year college students that I have, a lot of injustices on healthcare, especially with refugee and immigrant populations. And so a lot of students choose that topic because they have something that really bothers them about some systematic or governmental issue. So that's really what I have found that works the best. And that's a slow process to try to have students look at a list, narrow it, pick it, write about an investment. And I do these short pieces of writing, like in their topic proposal, they have to write why they are connected to that topic. So they're not just choosing a topic like Atlanta should have fewer superhighways. That doesn't have any meaning to them, but they know that they could probably find information on it. I guess that is one comment. And the other comment, it's actually the topic that I've been thinking about for a couple of years, but mostly this last year. And one that I presented to do at the Conla Linguistics, and that's the topic of why do college students resist writing? Like one of the things that I have just been more aware of is this resistance to writing in the last 5 years. So I think your question, Professor, of how do you hook them has become inextricably linked to the fact that there's a resistance. Why when I can communicate in short pieces of text or a short email, why do I have to do a long paper like that? So there's been a resistance. And I know we're a little bit running out of time, Marianela, and I have another meeting that's coming up. And I don't know if you have another session that is coming up at 2:00 too.
Thank you so much, Barbara. Well, just to wrap up this session, well, again, I really want to thank Barbara for being here. For those who came in a little bit later, Barbara is a professor from the United States with a lot of experience, and she's also a wonderful human being. Mr. Diego Garro and I had the chance to share time with her here in Costa Rica, in Pérez Celedón, and it was a very enriching experience. We really want to thank you, Barbara, for this enriching presentation. And just as a quick summary, Barbara talked to us about how writing used to be in the last 20 years and how Georgia State College is changing it. It's taking it from college to career, which is really useful for students. And I would say that it is really related to the task-based instruction method. Also, she showed us some interesting examples of her work in college with her students. For example, the personal mission statement essay. Also, she has taught her students how to write professional bios and resumes, and students have done had taken this step forward, which is to publish those written works that they have done. Thank you so much. And before you go, please, everyone, I already shared a Google Forms link, and we would really appreciate it if you write your name there, because this is for attendance. Would you please help us with that?
I already did. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
I want to
you,
thank you
Barbara.
for inviting me, Marianela. It's always lovely to be in contact with your program and the professors there. And my best wishes.
Thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you very much for sharing this wonderful information with us. And God bless you. And we wish you the best in all your endeavors.
We will see you around, I guess, right?
I hope so. I hope so.
Oh,
Take care.
Barbara Julian Busso says she surely is a jack of all trades.
Uh-oh, I'm in the chat.
Yes, and they are saying thank you so much. Thank you very much, Barbara.
You're welcome. You're
Good
welcome.
luck. Bye.
Good luck. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Okay, please remember to sign up the attendance Google form before you go. Thank you so much for paying attention. You have been a wonderful audience, and I want to give a special shout out to Professor Garro and to Professor Soto for being here. And of course, thank you very much, dear students. And if you've already signed up, you can leave the meeting. And please enjoy the rest of the academic week. See ya.
Okay, bye-bye.
See you.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.